This episode, we're looking at a movie so confusingly bizarre that even a snake in Dustin Hoffman's pants can't save it. A film so, the people involved seemingly want you to forget it ever happened. All this, plus Bradley saying the word boneyard a bunch. It's all here on another episode of Written Up. You've hit that podcast button, which means, yes, it's time for another fun-filled, wonderful, written-off episode. I am your host, Bradley Freeman. Thank you very much for joining us today. We've got an episode that, well, defies common sense. And with me, as always, is my co-host, Mark. Mark, how you going?
Defies common sense. I don't think that would always be a bad... I'm fine. I don't think that would always be a bad description of a film.
So I think you've seen a lot more movies that have non-linear storytelling or have dream logic or whatever you want to say, that they don't go simply. And I think the film we're talking about today, maybe it started off as that.
Yeah.
I think by the midway point, they're just like, fuck it.
I don't mind the first. Well, I don't particularly like the setup, whatever. But that let's call it the second quarter. I quite like, because I think, oh, what's going on here? You know, they've okay. Well, how much are we going to find out? How much are they going to tell us? Yeah, what's really real and what's not. And look, I'm honestly, it must be incredibly hard to make that kind of film and make it work. Most films that try it fail. This fails so badly because it gives up. It gives up on it. It's like, no. Oh God, no. Right. Anyway, right. So this is the, and it's too late. Because you've already made our heads swim in an uncomfortable way. You can't now do it. Obviously, we'll have to talk about, something like Sunshine or Event Horizon, which, films that set up an intriguing mystery thing and then, right, how are we going to resolve it? A lot of people had issues with Sunshine. I remember when it came out, the Danny Boyle film, for anyone who hasn't seen it. And Danny Boyle, I don't think sticks the landing very often. I think even 28 Days Later, the last third, he doesn't seem to commit to it, which is borne out by the fact that they actually had a plan to do something completely different. I think he's a setup guy rather than a climax guy, which is a lot of directors, to be fair. But this...
You heard it here, folks. Danny Boyle can't climax.
Can't climax. Well, no, Trainspotting has a good ending.
Just hurry up and come, Danny. Come!
Yeah. He does seem to struggle with it. I just think... Anyway, what are we talking about? Yeah, so I agree with you.
Well, no, you don't. This is going to be a good one because I love the setup. I love the first third and I fucking hate the rest. So this is going to be good.
It depends where you think the setup ends. What I'm talking about is literally the helicopter ride.
I love it.
What are you guys doing down here? Well, I'm a psychologist. Well, that don't make no sense. What? Okay.
Well, then, before we get into such delicious delights, what you been up to? What you been watching?
I did watch Anatomy of a Fall, which for anybody who hasn't seen it or doesn't know, it's more of a courtroom, quote unquote, thriller than I thought it would be. I thought it would be more on the mystery angle, but it's more on the human angle. It does something we talk about quite a lot. Revelatory revelations by the director. So it basically gives you information at very interesting moments in the film. So at one point you're like, are you going to tell us? It's okay if you're not. I just want to know now if you're not. But I think it does a really good job of being like, here's why the character's feeling this way. Here's why the character's doing this without explicitly saying. It turns on something which is a bit strange. Literally a dog poisoning. Don't worry, the dog survives. But I just think it's a very interesting way of parceling out information to the audience in a way that keeps you interested, but isn't obvious and also isn't frustrating. Again, like this film doesn't do. So yeah, I think recommend it probably for the acting. And it's certainly interesting to watch a French style courtroom, which is very different from British or an American style. A lot of questions about memory and familial relationships and relationships in marriage and how certain things are said. Can those things be then held up against someone, or are they just things that are said within the dynamic of a marriage? So yeah, anyone who's watched it will already be going, yeah. But I think if you haven't watched it, It's definitely worth a spin, and it has a brilliant steel drum version of PIMP, and that is like fundamental to the first quarter of the film. Just very nicely done. Very people call it things like mature, and it's interesting to talk about a film as mature, but it is mature. You know, a lot of the things we talk about feel very immature, very sophomore-ish. This feels like a film that has not been interfered with too much. The director really knew what was going to happen, what was going on, and everyone's singing from the same hymn sheet, so to speak. So yeah, just a big recommend. Brilliant dog acting though. The best dog acting I can remember since probably The Thing. So now I'll ask Brad, now that your Kurosawa kink has ended, what have you been watching?
Two movies I've seen recently. We're not going to cover them on the podcast because this podcast is all about movies that could have benefited from an extra pass on the screenplay to make it go from to that was pretty good. These two movies are absolute dog shit. Oh God, I'm forgetting the title of the first one. Jesus. It starred Gene Hackman and Morgan Freeman. Was it Beyond Suspicion? Unfortunately, I feel as though I have to lay the blame on the director because you've got two actors who are well known at being able to bring it.
How old is this film?
I think it's 2001. It's Hackman and Freeman just talking at each other and getting increasingly angrier. And who wouldn't want to see that?
Oh, Under Suspicion.
Under Suspicion. There we go. The ending of that film involves a reveal which is quite shocking. It's designed to be like, whoa, it's designed to get the audience and be like, wow. But the way it's filmed, or the way that it's edited, or the way it just comes across in the movie, it's not like, oh, it's more like, and this is what happens. It's quite fascinating in a bad way about how a screenplay can just be mishandled. You've got amazing actors, amazing talent. Thomas Jane's in there, Monica Bellucci's in there. Everyone's a banger, but it's a total misfire. And it's so curious to see.
Stephen Hopkins directed it. Predator 2's Stephen Hopkins.
I felt so let down because I like Stephen Hopkins, his Ghost and the Darkness with Val Kilmer and Michael Douglas. He shot the hell out of that. And yeah, Predator 2 has got some great tricks too. I like Stephen Hopkins as a director, but for some reason, right from the very opening shot, no one was giving their A game. Everyone was giving their G game.
Sorry to interrupt. Stephen Hopkins made a horror film 7 years after that film called The Reaping, which is a supernatural horror film starring Hilary Swank. And the poster, quite a good poster. And the tagline is, "What hath God wrought?"
It took him 7 more years to direct a movie after this one.
And then after that, It took 9 more years for him to make his final film, Race, which is the biographical drama of Jesse Owens' life. What a fascinating career. That's got to go down as Nightmare on Elm Street 5, Blown Away, Lost in Space, Tube Tales? British anthology film about the London Underground starring Ray Winston, and British viewers only will know her, Denise Van Outen.
Lost in Space was gigantic. I remember the trailers for that. I remember the hype for it, the toys. Hopkins had a big push for that movie. And yeah, it didn't do that well, and it's not like a movie, but wow, that's quite a plummet.
Please tell me the second film. I apologize.
Well, no plummet was needed because this was DOA from the very, very get-go. I watched The Boneyard was a movie that was released in cinemas for about a week and then went straight to streaming, basically. It stars 50 Cent and Mel Gibson and a bunch of other actors that you've seen in other TV shows before.
Oh, fuck, it's from last year.
The movie revolves around a bunch of policemen and one lone FBI guy, played by Gibson, who they're trying to find the killer behind a bunch of female victims, a bunch of bodies that are left in quote unquote the boneyard. Now, this was a movie that announced its awfulness from the very get-go when it says that 4 people were credited with writing the screenplay. And you sure as fuck can tell when you watch this movie, because I haven't seen a more uneven, unfocused, quote unquote, mainstream film in a while. So you've got, okay, so here comes Gibson's character. Let's focus on him for about 3 minutes. Oh, wait a minute. His allotted time is finished. Let's focus on 50 Cent's character. We'll focus on him for about 5 minutes, give him a backstory, and we're going to drop it. Who's another character? Oh, here's this other character. Let's focus on him. It's not like, I'm sorry to bring it up. It's not Love Actually. juggling a cast of characters and, oh, what's going on? How is this all intertwining? No, it's just a bunch of characters who are focused on one thing, but none of them actually seem to care about that one thing, namely finding the murderer. And they just go off and do their own things. And it is abysmal.
I mean, the obvious question is, what on earth led you to watch that?
I know that Mel Gibson has a lot of issues. I think most recently he backed Trump for president. So that says it all right there. But as an actor, I find him to be fascinating. The same way I find Shia LaBeouf quite interesting. They're noted powder kegs.
Yeah, loose cannons, exactly, yeah.
And trash humans. But all that said, I clicked on it because it was, well, the honest answer, it was available for rental from the Apple Store for $1.99.
$1.99. You've spent $1.99.
I have spent.
Interesting to me is that looking at this, I mean, you can't call it a poster. Thumbnail? Mel Gibson is only an and. The top position is taken by Brian Van Holt with Curtis Jackson. Yeah, the classic Curtis 50 Cent Jackson in second place. But then the pictures don't line up with that because obviously you got Gibbo on the left. Even that's enough to tell me something's gone horribly wrong. The screenplay was written by a really nice assortment of names. Vincent E. McDaniel, Asif Akbar, who's also the director, Hank Bird, and Koji Steven Sakai. One of the things I like about doing this is when you go and look at the people behind and just like the menagerie of people involved in. The thing is, it's the kind of thing that would come up at Christmas and before the internet, you'd have been like, well, I'm here. I'm not moving.
Wait, what do you mean? So like, oh, it's Christmas time. Let's watch a Mel Gibson movie.
Well, it's like I can't get up. Physically can't get up.
I am unable to prevent this from happening. Therefore, I will allow it.
Yeah, those are the only circumstances in which a film like this I would have watched. Because now, like, there's a film we're doing next week, and I've just explained to Brad that I am struggling because there is too much else to watch. And I imagine Deathbed Me being like fucking an hour and a half on the Boneyard. There would have been a time I'd have happily watched the Boneyard. But now if I get 10 minutes into it and I'm like, yeah, no, I give up. And that doesn't mean I do anything better. I just watch a stupid YouTube video. I'm still wasting my time. I'm just wasting my time in smaller segments.
You are to be commended.
No, you are to be commended because you've still got the patience to watch fucking Boneyard.
I paid $1.99. I had to see it through.
Yeah, that's worrying. As my dad would say, you've obviously got more money than sense.
This was clearly a movie that had a script, presumably, going in when they filmed it, and you can see the editing after the fact used to paste over. So, for example, Gibson gets a lot of voiceover work.
Does he?
When there is voiceover work, you make a real point to edit out the and the
yeah.
But this movie,
apparently, the Boneyard is based on real events. The West Mesa murders, the killings of 11 women whose remains were found buried in 2009 in New Mexico. That makes it worse, doesn't it?
Especially because the movie ends with like Gibson looking at a board and going, "It's a hard price to pay." Cuts to black and says, "The murder's never solved." Boom.
I wish it had been delivered in that way. Cuts to black and then just Brad's voice. The murder was never solved. That would have been not written on the screen, just your voice. That would have. Why aren't films brave enough to do that? Just.
Mates, let me tell you about the time, one of the rarest of moments where I saw Mark burst into laughter, uncontrollable giggles of laughter that he actually had to stop for a moment and take a deep breath. We were filming this movie. We won't go into the details. We're filming this movie. He was shooting me in a scene. I was acting in it. All he had to do was pan the camera across to me, and I was going to say something like, this was unsuccessful. There you go.
This was unsuccessful.
I'll give my Gibson version. This was unsuccessful. So anyway, he was going to pan across to me and I was going to say it. For the hell of it, I thought I'd put a bit of Kiwiness in there, for the lack of a better word. And so he panned across to me. He didn't see what I was doing. I just put my hands in my pockets and I just said, well, that sucked. And he
Yes.
laughed so hard he almost dropped the camera and he had to apologize.
It's I'm glad because that story began. I was like, I don't remember laughing uncontrollably, but I do remember it now.
So basically, it seems Mark has an affinity for me saying blasé things.
I mean, a lot of British comedy, like purposely bad delivery. Matt Berry's very good at it.
Matt Berry is a legend at that,
Yeah, he's very
yes.
good at it. He's in if for anyone who hasn't seen it, it's called Garth Marenghi's Dark Place. It's very fun and they really do a nice job of parodying bad films, but they do it in an affectionate way.
Very lovingly.
The Americans do it well too, but there's just a certain British way of doing things. Yeah, it's good stuff. I just, anything like that is tickles me.
But the Boneyard will not tickle you.
Yeah, no.
What I'm saying is, under suspicion, I would not recommend watching it. But there's a case to be made for like, well, this started off acceptable and turned out less than. Whereas the Boneyard, just misery.
Interesting category of films, though, isn't it? Great starts, horrible finishes. Well, you're going to talk about our film for today. Anyone still listening, what are you doing? Bearing in mind what I've just said about wasting your life. But if you do want to waste your life a bit more, let's talk about Sphere.
Directed by Barry Levinson, adapted by Kurt Wimmer, with a further revision done by Stephen Hauser and Paul Attanasio. Sphere is brought into the world from Michael Crichton's 1987 novel. Now, this is interesting. Sphere was preceded by Congo.
Yeah.
And followed by Jurassic Park.
Weird to think about now.
I mean, considering in the space of a decade, I'm pretty sure the 1990s were like Crichton's decade because they made Congo, Jurassic.
As always, I'm going to horribly interrupt your flow. Have you seen what Kurt Wimmer has written? I guess you have.
Give it to us.
What an incredible lineup. Well, I want to start with the first film. He didn't write, but directed One Tough Bastard. Sphere is actually the first film he wrote. Then he wrote Thomas Crown Affair, Equilibrium, The Recruit, Ultraviolet, Street Kings, Law Abiding Citizen, Salt, then the remake of Total Recall, the remake of Point Break, the remake of Children of the Corn. What an incredible, and then The Beekeeper. What a weird and wonderful career Mr. Wimmer has had.
That man keeps somehow failing up even after a string of failures. Ultraviolet alone is legendary for its choices.
Anyway, I'm sorry. Please continue.
Telling the story of a spacecraft presumed to be of alien origin discovered on the floor of the Pacific Ocean, this object is estimated to have been there for about 300 years. And thus, a team of experts, namely marine biologist Dr. Beth Halperin, mathematician Dr. Harry Adams, astrophysicist Dr. Ted Fielding, psychologist Dr. Norman Goodman, and U.S. Navy Captain Harold Barnes are all tasked with entering the spacecraft and communicating with whatever may or may not be inside. However, upon entering this giant spacecraft, they encounter a large sphere of unknown composition, causing shit to go downhill faster than you can Google the film's production budget.
That's really well done.
That is Sphere.
That was really good. I really enjoyed that. Delivery, the word choices, because Brad has taken a little snippet from Wiki, but added a lot of his own flair. And the flair was what made it.
Unlike Danny Boyle, I come.
Yeah, you were. God. You did. That was very good. That's very good.
There's got to be a fucking quote every episode, and I hope that is the one that our mates leave this episode with. Hey, did you know Bradley Freeman comes not like Danny Boyle, noted uncomer.
Uncomer. I don't know where to go from that, really. Yeah, so let's very quickly. This came out in 98. You're saying the Congo was written first. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Congo, then Sphere, then Jurassic Park.
Yes, Sphere is 1987, the book version. But yes, he wrote Congo, Sphere, and Jurassic Park.
And they came out, Jurassic Park.
Congo.
Oh, Congo. Congo was 97.
And Sphere. Yeah. In this movie, what actually does work? And let me just get into this by saying I absolutely fucking love underwater science fiction horror movies. I'm talking Leviathan. I'm talking, underwater. I'm talking Deep Star 6. anything that's underwater and is kind of SF or horror based. Oh, it's my jam. And you know exactly what I'm talking about. I mean, like pneumatic doors that go, and there's like, there's dripping water coming down from the ceiling, and there's fluorescent lighting, and the floor paneling is always that kind of metal grids, and you have to have a klaxon going T minus something something, and there's some kind of fucking monster running around after someone, and everyone is super sweaty, and there's a risk of decompression. I mean, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I love that. And this, you think you're gonna get that, and to be fair, you get a bit of it, and we'll get into it later on.
And you're not even sure how much of it you're getting, are you? You're getting it, but are you getting it? It's it's the equivalent of if you've got a toddler and you're doing the choo-choo train into the mouth and you keep snatching the spoon away. I'm trying to how can I force this metaphor? And then the kid goes to sleep and dreams that he's eating it, and then wakes up to see Brad still holding the spoon. Like
we're not done yet, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know if anyone listening to this can tell, but I don't make a lot of notes. See, it's interesting because before we started recording, and I think even maybe the other day, we talked about, I don't like the setup, but I think what Brad's talking about is the setup to where we are in the world, which I like. So I like where we are in the world, and I like the narrative setup. I don't like the helicopter ride in, which I know Crichton seems to have a real hard on for helicopters, doesn't he? I don't know why. Really loves helicopter rides into places. But if you compare the helicopter ride in of Jurassic Park movie compared to this is so ham-fisted.
So what do you do, Dustin Hoffman? I'm a psychologist. Oh, we're flying loads of people in recently. Why are you doing that? Oh, because of the crash. The crash.
It's toss. Absolute toss. I feel sorry for the actor who has to play the pilot. I almost said the driver.
Well, I'm gonna turn it around, because in my notes I've got this is clearly riding off Jurassic Park, and whoever shot that opening helicopter stuff knew exactly what they were doing. From a screenplay perspective, or even from a novel perspective, I think this is a perfect opening chapter. Well, you got two characters in a very, very enclosed space. One is just constantly asking the other questions, and it's very economical. It fills you in on who they are, what their job is, the fact that they're completely in the fucking dark, that right from the get-go, there is something mysterious happening. And then you get that shot which shows all the fucking ships out in the water. I think that's like, boom, that's a great way to start your movie.
Yeah, maybe it's just filmed badly and written badly.
I can't argue with you there.
That's what I think is really interesting to us. Maybe not to anyone else, but some of the concept of the setup, and you as a writer are thinking about it, right? Broad strokes, yes. It's just, if you can, it's like tight close up. Like it's just, he's a weird director anyway, but I just find it...
Mr. Levinson, yes.
Trying to establish claustrophobia from the beginning, because it is quite... Even that helicopter feels quite claustrophobic. You're right up next to bloody Hoffman's face. And then you go into where they're going, and there's not, to my memory, not really a fantastic establishing shot or anything. It's just like, is there an establishing shot? There probably is, but it doesn't stick out like it does in other things.
I don't know who was on it first, whether it was Hoffman or Levinson, but in the Wikipedia article, it states that Hoffman, who has worked with Levinson a lot, they get along quite well, they make movies together. He joined this because he thought that Levinson could elevate the material.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say that straight. He was the wrong choice. I think Hoffman is the right choice. I love seeing Hoffman in this kind of role. Same with Outbreak. It's so refreshing to see your lead character, who should be an action-ish character, be someone who has this really good, slow, fuming, thoughtful, always seems to be thinking and trying to stay on top of things, which is great for your lead character. But Levinson, to your point, does not shoot a very majestic opening. There is no majesty in this film at all. There is no awe. There is no, here is your shot that's going to fucking blow you away in the trailer. I know the mates are sick of me saying this, but there's no Spielberg in any of this movie. And this movie needed a lot more Spielberg.
Something like Deep Blue Sea. I mean, it has a similar kind of setup and does it better. Character-wise, you've got four different kinds of, what are they? A novelist, a gymnast, and they're all going in.
Everyone knows each other. Hoffman goes in, there's the joke like, well, not a joke, but there's like the lead up, like there's a plane accident. Plane accident? What is the plane? It's not a plane accident. No one's telling him directly. And then he sees Sharon Stone's character. He's like, Beth? And then he meets Liev Schreiber's character, and he's like, Ted. And they make the joke. There's a lot of snappy dialogue.
I'm only laughing because it sounds like Groundhog Day. Ned Ryerson.
But there's so much snappy dialogue, and and because it's being delivered by Samuel L. Jackson and Dustin Hoffman, it flows really quickly and well. Like, has he shown you the book yet? Do you think he brought the book? He brought the book. Hey, Ted, where's your book? Oh, the book's right here. Boom, 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 boom. It's what I'm saying is I like that the movie is so economical right from the get-go. So Hoffman's character doesn't know shit. There is some mystery. Boom. He knows the other characters there, and he is perplexed, but none of the characters know why they're there. Yeah, just that is enough to be like, that's a hook. I like that hook. And then the music is doing a hell of a job trying to add some majesty. Yeah. And then you've got a mathematician, you've got an astrophysicist, you've got, a marine biologist, and you've got a goddamn psychologist. Those are your four main characters. And you got your requisite army guy. You put those five characters in a room. I am curious as to what they're going to talk about and how they're going to go about it.
Interesting. My
two favorite lines here, and they're all delivered so well. They're talking about Jerry, about the quote unquote alien that is texting them on the screen, that is talking to them, that comes in about the halfway point of the movie. Jerry is this, Jerry is that, hello there, and they're talking to Jerry. And I think the Jerry scenes, God, I wish they had some more menace in them. But there's one moment which is so chilling and so effective and so minimal, where they're talking about, it says there, Jerry's happy. That's great. Dustin Hoffman character, who is, the psychologist, he goes, And the other characters go, well, what the hell's wrong with Jerry being happy? We want him to be happy. And the audience is right there with him, like, yeah, well, why the fuck wouldn't you want some alien thing to be happy? And Hoffman's character says, well, what happens if Jerry gets mad?
Yeah.
It's such a simple line. It's Hoffman delivering it so perfectly. It's just like, yes. And then later on, or even before that, Samuel L. Jackson's character says, not nonchalantly, that comes later on, but he says it, I suppose, with clinical precision. He just says, we die down here. That's just a matter of deductive logic. There's so much here that is really, really meaty. I'm front loading all of this, all the good stuff, because quite soon we're just going to be like a bunch of high schoolers at a fucking prom. We're just going to fumble our way around and just pretend like it doesn't matter.
I didn't do that. It always mattered to me, yeah. Prom. Very nicely articulated. I hadn't thought about it quite as you have. I think different people will be frustrated with different elements of this film. I think the fact that it has, to your mind, and I would agree, set it up, keep saying the same thing up in that way. And it is quite menacing. And I like the menacingness of it.
Well, even the reason for the four of them being there, we find out as a government report that Hoffman has made.
Yeah, which is,
what if there's fucking aliens? And I love that Hoffman's like, yo, I just fucking made that shit up.
Yeah.
And I just picked some names based on some random fucking people I could think of. What a great idea. Like,
yeah,
how many fucking haunted house movies have you seen with a bunch of characters in a haunted house that have no connection, or like, no, like, what the fuck is that guy doing there?
Yeah, and it's believable because, we see when unexpected stuff happens in the world, governments haven't got a fucking clue. I mean, look at, anyone who's had to deal with a pandemic, whichever country you're from, whatever you think about it, it was clear no one had a fucking Scooby what to do. And they were basing, like Sweden based it all on the projections of such and such a professor, and New Zealand did, scrabbling around, desperately trying to work it out. I mean, I would say, I don't know if you have the answers. How long has this sphere been present? Like, how long did it take them to get to Hoffman as the savior of this? Because I was a bit unclear. And again, I didn't rewatch it. I tried. But how long have they been grappling with this issue?
They haven't actually gone inside.
Right.
They don't step inside until they've got their four members with them.
So this is the first go.
Yeah, they consider this document to be the Bible, and they're sticking to it a chapter by chapter on this document. So
bit weird.
There's no colonial marines going in there first.
No, that's what I mean. Like, jumping to the end of the podcast, if you'd have had like especially the extended cut of Alien, I like the extended cut of Alien where it shows Newt's family. I like that, and I think something like that. I don't know. Could you have done it?
Oh, by the way, the Boneyard. I forgot one crucial detail. So talking about the ending of the Boneyard. All right, let's do a little role play, because this is how it actually ends. So you're the detective, the lead detective of the case. I am a forensic psychologist on site at the Boneyard. Are you ready? Okay, I'm giving you a call on your phone. Ring, 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 ring.
Hello?
Detective, I need you to come down here to the Boneyard.
Okay.
It's important.
I'm on my way.
No. You've been suspended.
Oh, well, I can't come because I've been suspended.
No, but the chief says you have to come to the Boneyard. It's important.
But I can't come because I'm suspended. What?
Yeah,
Okay.
You got to come anyway. The chief said you got to come.
Okay, I'll be there.
You have to ask why.
But why?
Because there's another Boneyard by the Boneyard. We've found 4 more bodies.
Another Boneyard?
The murders never solved.
Wow. That's the end?
That's the end. So all throughout the movie, this killer has been killing women, but because the movie's so disjointed, you've got no idea when this is taking place. So you're like, wait, is this the past or the present? If it's the present, why is no one reporting this the woman constantly being fucking murdered? And then it turns out this idiot is making another Boneyard right by the Boneyard where the cops, I guess they only work 9 to 5, have been unearthing the bodies.
I do really, and again, your delivery of that last line was even better this time. I'm determined to get that into a big budget film, just because, you imagine it, whatever, World War II, Hitler died in the bunker. Just like, it would be amazing.
Yep. So you want me to, here, hang on. In October of 1984, 3 student filmmakers disappeared in the woods near Burkittsville, Maryland, while shooting a documentary. A year later, their footage was found.
Wow.
Is that good?
It's too long though. It'd have to just be like a year later their footage was found. Just like really.
I like your version.
I'd be quite good at that. Have you seen the films Creep? Have you seen the 2 horror films Creep and Creep 2?
Are they good? Because they're on my Netflix always.
Really difficult to say if they're good or not, but I think worth watching. They do something quite interesting. Like, no, I'd say definitely they're worth watching. Yeah, definitely, because it's very real curiosities of films. It very, very off-putting and very creepy. I mean, for want of a better word, super, super creepy.
Are we talking in like a Terrifier 2 and 3 kind of way?
No. Because really, not really a lot happens for the first 2/3 of the film. So the beauty of the film is you're not sure, okay, maybe he's just a bit of a weird person. Maybe that's all there is to it.
He's not, in fact, a creep. Okay.
Well, he's definitely a creep, but is he the kind of creep you think he is at the beginning? I think, and then Creep 2 tries to do something very different. Don't know how successful it is, but the main guy is genuinely disturbing as an actor. Yeah, I would definitely say it's worth a little. Well, if Boneyard is worth some of your time, you've set the bar very low with Boneyard.
Yeah, I love the fact that there was a character in this movie, a lady of the night. And she'd been in a couple of scenes, and she was giving the detectives good information about shit that was going down. And then, a truck pulls up and you think it's the killer, and she gets in there and she's like, so what are we doing? And less than 6 seconds later, after she said that line, her corpse was being thrown to the ground. What? And you didn't even see her face. And it's like, well, I guess she's out of the picture.
God, that's terrible. Sounds awful.
Yeah.
There was a guy in England who killed a bunch of ladies of the night, and he was doing it in a part of England called Suffolk. They were trying to think of a nickname for him, and they were really excited because I was working at the news channel at the time. They were so excited, and they settled on the Suffolk Strangler. But some people were trying to call him the Suffocator. Yeah, it was.
Woof.
And then he got caught and he looked like the most ineffectual, wouldn't have looked at him twice on the street kind of guy. But it was horrific.
sorry to tear you away from Sphere, but it's time for an ad read about what else? Momo and Matsu, the director's cut, my book. Now, so I've gone onto IMDb, typed in Sphere, I've had a look through the goofs, the trivia, and for you, the mates, I'm gonna pepper this ad read with real, hard-hitting information about Sphere, just in case you're on the fence about either buying my book or watching Sphere. To be honest, I hope it's more about the book and less about the movie, because if you haven't figured it out by now, fuck! Do not watch this movie. At around 50 minutes, when Jane Edmonds gets called away from her station, she pushes her headset down from her head onto her neck and walks away. Only the previous shot shows that the headset is connected with a cable. Momo and Matsu is an urban paranormal tale set in Tokyo, centering around an old man and a high school girl. When the character Harry is eating, he has eggs on his fork, but in the next scene, they are gone. It just so happens the high school girl is dead. Director Barry Levinson toyed with the idea of having Queen Latifah and Huey Lewis record a duet for the end credits. Together, the two of them grow closer and figure out the missteps they both made in their lives. When Beth floods the med lab, Norman dives for an oxygen tank. While diving, he accidentally hits his head against a table. This was not scripted. All while sinister, supernatural forces are getting ever closer to the both of them. And for Momo and Matsu, it's not just their lives on the line, but their very souls. Available now on Amazon in ebook, hardcover, and paperback. Type in Bradley Freeman, Momo and Matsu, director's cut. Back to the show. Speaking of horrific, Sphere, what was the first mistake writing-wise?
It's really difficult.
If it's difficult, I'll tell you right off the fucking bat. The chapter breaks.
Okay, yeah.
The chapter breaks in this movie, they are never earned. They keep the viewer at a distance. They are edited abruptly. One chapter break broke mid-dialogue. Mid-dialogue. Yep. And worse, each chapter feels disjointed from the one before and after. So here we go. I've got an example for you. Hoffman ostensibly goes inside the sphere, and the immediate scene afterwards doesn't feature him.
Yeah.
Or is he talked about? Now, any moviegoer who has seen, I don't know, more than 30 movies knows, oh, okay, he went inside the sphere. The movie tries to kind of play it coy, but no.
Okay, yeah.
No one is in the dark. This fucker has gone inside the sphere. But the immediate scene afterwards doesn't show him. So we're like, wait.
Yeah, true. Yeah, no, good.
The character we're following, where the fuck is he? Because something important happened to him. And then when we finally do cut to this bastard, he's just sitting there like he's fucking eating a sandwich. He's just sitting there. And then shortly thereafter, everyone just fucking watches Queen Latifah die. No one freaks out. No one fights to stop it.
No, they die.
No one is like, holy shit. Oh no. Everyone's like, the jellyfish. Yeah, you should do something about that. There's a lot of them, You should, I don't know.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
She is suffocated and attacked by jellyfish, and no one cares.
I did make a note.
Cutting back to Hoffman, just sitting there. Only when they autopsy her is there an actual facial reaction from one of the cast to show some discomfort. And then during the autopsy, I'm not finished. During the fucking autopsy, we get the line, I don't know what this is, but it's not God's creation. But the camera never shows the jellyfish, so we've got no fucking clue what she's referring to or why the jellyfish are not normal jellyfish. Look, I know it's meant to be psychological and fucked up, and I just can't get past movies where 99% of the problems would be solved by strapping down a bunch of the characters and just asking questions point blank. Did you do this? No. Did you do this? No. Did you eat that? Did you touch this? Just fucking ask questions. Fuck.
Yeah, and I think that's the problem, because you set these people up and you think, well, they've actually got a relationship. They're not strangers. They know each other / know of each other. So
you've set them up as very competent, smart people.
Yeah, and then you immediately undermine that. Yeah. But I mean, in regards to the intertitles and the editing, like, is that a writing issue? Is that an editing issue? Is that, I mean, obviously it's a stylistic choice. I mean, I quite like in some films a pretentious intertitle, but
I mean, like the Doctor Sleep director's cut has a ton of them. But then again, that's a 3.5 hour movie. It really, really works. It's, you're having this full dinner course or whatever the hell you want to say. But this movie, no.
Yeah, so why? So I guess the question would be, if Barry was here, why did he do that? Why did he decide? I think it's no problem. I've seen a lot of films, and you obviously have, where the film, it's not really a mystery whether he's gone in or not, but it's like, we're going to cut away because it needs to feel like a bit of a mystery, even if it's just to the characters, which I think is fine. But yeah, it is very peculiarly done. And I guess he thought, I'm setting up this queasy, confusing, disjointed atmosphere. I'm going to set it up now, and this is how I'm going to do it. Because after that, it's funny, I said it's difficult to pinpoint, but actually it is very easy to pinpoint. And after that, all of the things that have been set up, how many times are we going to say that, are ripped up, aren't they, from that point?
One scene, one chapter happens, and you've got, say, Norman, Dustin Hoffman's character, and Beth, Sharon Stone's character. They're talking normally, as you and me are. Then it's a chapter break. And the immediate next time you see Beth's character, Sharon Stone, she's 200% pissy at Dustin Hoffman for no reason. She's suddenly just fucking out for his nuts.
Yeah.
Or fucking Barnes doesn't answer Norman when Norman asks him a question like, hey, Mark, what'd you have for breakfast? And imagine you looking at me and not answering, as though I just didn't even open my mouth. It's like, what the fuck? It's not like, oh, what excellent editing, obscuring the truth. No, it's more like, I can't fucking follow this. Fucking chapter breaks. What the fuck?
Yeah, and it is interesting because, I mean, as you've alluded to, I go with these things more than you do as a rule. Like something like Lost Highway by David Lynch. You think you know where you're going, and it's like, nah, fuck off. But I realized when I watched this that it is a really difficult skill to try and make it still intriguing. And actually, the film, I don't know if you've ever seen David Lynch's Inland Empire. I saw it at the cinema, actually, and it was a headache-inducing affair, and I've never watched it again. And I just felt like he'd gone too far, and it was unwatchable, really. It was quite scary in the fact that it's so lacking in all cohesion that you don't know where you are. And there are bits in this where you think, oh, okay, you're going to do that.
Yeah.
But you've grounded it. Now you've ripped the rule up, and okay, I understand, because you're saying they were grounded until they came into contact with the sphere, and now everything's all up. Like, I get it. Like, I see what you're trying to do. I kept on thinking, am I to blame the writing or the execution? And Hoffman, there's a line that Hoffman makes, if you watch Amazon Prime, on the X-ray thing, which is weird. It comes up like Hoffman's like, I was disappointed with the end result. Kind of like, I thought we could have done better. I don't know whether to blame the writing. I think I'd blame the stylistic choices. It feels like a film that needed a different, as you said earlier, needed a different person directing it.
This is a great way to move into the next part, which is, why did they make the story choices they did? Now, here's a nugget for you. See if I'm barking up the wrong tree or not. Event Horizon.
Yeah.
Released 15th of August, 1997.
Okay.
Now, Event Horizon had a very, very famous post-production issue in that Paramount, they needed a big hit, and Titanic missed its release date. So suddenly, it was going to be Titanic, then Event Horizon. But because Titanic moved, I think, to Christmas, Paramount were like, oh, fuck. So normally post-production on a movie, a director gets, it's a DGA rule, a Directors Guild rule, they get 10 weeks to work on their first edit. So you've got, it's part of the rule book. You got 10 weeks to turn in your first cut. Well, because of Titanic and the issue therein, Paul W.S. Anderson, he only had 4 weeks to work on his cut. So he sent in his cut, and then they were like, no, the test audience didn't like it, and he cut it down further, and that was what was released. So what I'm saying is, so Event Horizon comes out 15th of August, 97, and was a box office failure, did not make back its money. Sphere was released February 14th, 1998. So I think it's likely both movies were probably in production at the same time. So I'm not saying anyone was stealing anything from the other. I mean, when you watch both movies, it fucking does feel like you're watching the same movie. Here's the long corridors. Here's the thing. Here, one's in space, one's in underwater. There's a lot of similarities. But I wonder if editing was affected on Sphere, because
it feels like
they probably were in production at the same time. But Event Horizon came out first. There's enough time for a Warner Brothers executive or even Levinson to go and see Event Horizon, and box office failure or not, be like, oh shit, and then look at their own movie and be like, well, that didn't make its money back. Our movie was $80 million. We've got a lot of smart talky talk stuff. We better, get to the giant squid and the people freaking out and being all weird and shit as soon as possible. I'm wondering if that might be it.
Maybe. It's funny, just as you were talking there, this is very interesting. I'm as interested as the people listening about this. This is very good, Brad. This is probably your best work. I'm very fascinated by the mixture of the inside baseball style industry revelations and your, very good. I feel honored to be listening. I was thinking have you seen the
Be
film?
honest, you're just here for the Boneyard.
I'll leave that there. Have you seen the Nick Cage? Yeah, it is Lovecraft. The Color
in Space.
Have you seen it?
Love it. Yeah. No, love it's a bit strong. Good.
No, but I love it. Good. It is good. And I think, again, I'm quite a fan of this. If we ever do come into contact with something, it's going to fuck us up in ways, not Independence Day ways. It's going to fuck us up in this way. And I like that as a genre. And I don't know if there's enough of those. Well, not enough for me anyway. So yeah, I think it just doesn't scream Barry Levinson. Doesn't fit. It just feels like a bunch of people are a little bit uncomfortable with what they're doing. It does not feel like a cohesive work that was made by a few people. It feels like it maybe wanted to be that and then wasn't. Feels like a lot of hands have pulled in different directions on it. Because I mean, Event Horizon, I remember exactly when and where I saw that film, and it did have quite an effect on me. I was quite young at the time, but quite horrific. And some of the woozy, like, oh, what the fuck's going on? It's easier to watch for damn sure. As I've said 3 times now, I couldn't watch this again. Where Event Horizon, you could probably happily put that on.
Yep.
It drags you through the narrative a lot better than this. I have a quick question. What is Hoffman and Sharon Stone? She was his student.
They had an affair. Yep.
That they've had an affair, right? Well, what's the age difference? But then one point you think has he raped her? Like, it's a very, I hate to say the R word, but very odd dynamic between those two all the way through. She seems very, very upset, but in a more angry rather than jilted way. Do you know what I mean?
Well, no, she vacillates all over the fucking place.
Yeah, she does.
She's kind of snippety and oh, it's you, but she's professional. And then the next scene, she's like, what you fucking
Yeah.
She is so all over the place that there's a scene where she's like, look, if you don't do the thing, I'm just going to fucking drown you. I'm going to drown you. Yeah. Don't make me drown you. I'm drowning you. So I haven't read the book. I'm actually going to get onto that because I think there's enough stuff here that does interest me, and I'm curious. Typically, I find Crichton to be quite a sterile writer. He's got amazing ideas. Yeah. But anyway, here's what Crichton said about the book. The idea of doing a story about contact with superior intelligence, a time-honored theme, is that's very, very hard if you stop and think about it. Most writers evade the issue by making aliens recognizably human. It's 9 feet tall with spiky teeth and it wants to eat you. or it's 3 feet tall and wants to hug you. In either case, it's human-like. What's more likely about first contact with an extraterrestrial is that the alien wouldn't look human-like at all. You might not be able to even see it or detect it. And this behavior to you would be absolutely inexplicable. You just couldn't communicate with it. The trouble is, it gets hard to dream up a story where at the center there is something inexplicable.
So, as you say, stupid intertitle. Right, now Samuel L. Jackson's reading this book. Why is he reading the book? Well, I guess those of you with patience are going to have to wait. And then it just goes all over the place. Like, it's all over the place. It's virtually unwatchable, isn't it?
It does become quite unwatchable because I don't believe it's the fault of the actors because, for example, in this scene, you are acting this way because of what's happened to you, but the movie presents it to the audience out of context or out of order. And so you've got Samuel L. Jackson, one scene saying, bacon, I love bacon, I'm bacon. He's singing in the shower. The next scene, he's just dead eyes staring at Sharon Stone and saying, this bitch is fucked up. Norman, he's saying it right in front of her. Norman, she's a woman, she can't be trusted, or some version of that. This movie really does not do women any favors because the only character who breaks down crying is a woman. And it's like, I think they'd all be fucking crying at that point, especially the army guy who gets fucking cut in half. The only one who freaks out enough to arm explosives is also a woman. And of course, the woman's about like, you fucked me, or like relationship. She's not pissed off like, you stole my thesis, or, you know, like you fucking elbowed me out of this scholarship. It's like, I love your dick and now I can't have it.
Yeah, which is unbelievable, isn't it? On every level.
Yeah, especially Dustin Hoffman's dick.
And it's Sharon fucking Stone. I mean, are you joking? She's she's massively neglected in the whole process and in his Samuel L. Jackson too. What a weird, it's kind of weird casting when you think about it. Let's take everything that's charismatic about him away and just have him mysteriously reading a book. Right, so I want to know what you thought about the wrap up of this monstrosity. So it goes all fucking what the fuck, jellyfish and squid, and well, how can this be happening? This doesn't make any sense. Scenes intercut that, as you say, don't cohere. They're so jarring, but not even in a fun, surrealistic way. Then things get wrapped up. So we come to the end. And how did you understand the end of this?
Before we get to that, before we jump to the ending, let me just take you through what I call a list of stupid shit. Okay. Right. Mates, if you're listening along and you haven't seen Sphere, or like Mark and myself, after viewing it, you've fucking forgotten what happened in Sphere. Yeah. I'm just going to, apropos of nothing, read you a bunch of stuff and just, this happens in this movie. Okay. Are you ready? Immediately after Samuel L. Jackson's character comes back to normal, he starts gaslighting Dustin Hoffman about Sharon Stone. And you'd think Dustin Hoffman would like distance himself from both people because both are acting way out of fucking character. But no, he takes the guy's side, of course. Then there's this near constant assault of characters doing implausibly stupid things. Okay. Army guy sends non-professionals to turn a valve they have never seen before, let alone know which way to turn or how much. And this is a life or death situation. If this valve is not turned, they all die. So the army guy has to stay and read the screens, but not actually turn the valve. Meanwhile, Samuel Jackson sleeps through imminent death, which is explained later, but during of which the audience is losing their mind at how stupid it is. Hey, is Jerry the sphere? Is Jerry inside the sphere? Yeah. Or is he on the ship? Or is Jerry a projection of Samuel L. Jackson's character's mind? No one ever asks this question, and it's never explained. So we never actually know what the fuck is Jerry. Is it the sphere talking? The ship, something inside the sphere? No one knows. Next thing, why is Samuel L. Jackson not immediately quarantined upon going inside an alien object?
who's running this whole fucking thing anyway? They've taken the time to get them all there and they've gone, right, off you go, have fun. Army man occasionally comes in. But basically speaking, it's those four fucking around.
Now, at this point in time in the movie, the only person confirmed to have gone inside the sphere is Samuel L. Jackson. And he is confirmed to be either sleeping or acting fucking weird and is never quarantined.
No.
He's never, like, they're just like, leave him be. He's fine. He's enjoying bacon.
And they even trust him at times. They're like, yeah, Dustin's like, yeah, he's right. Sharon is a fucking nut. What? You're trusting him?
What happens when they go inside the sphere is the sphere, which does not reflect them, suddenly reflects them. And then they kind of slide up the sphere and out of view. So we see Dustin Hoffman's face on the sphere. So any mildly experienced moviegoer would instantly assume everything we see and hear after is bullshit. But we're subjected from about, I'd say, I should have timed it. I don't know how long it is from the moment Hoffman enters the sphere to the moment someone says, "You were in the sphere." But he's in the dark the entire fucking movie. The audience is not.
Yeah.
And that's not good when your character is meant to be, as he calls himself, a smart person.
Yeah.
Nocturnal snakes. Now, Sharon Stone says, these are nocturnal snakes, so you don't need to worry. So, wait, does that mean that that in the darkness of the ocean, they don't bite? Or they do bite? And what the fuck?
It's a good line, though.
Yes.
Yep. I mean, I've been to Australia and, I think they have a few nocturnal snakes, but I don't know what effect, whether we should worry less about them, as you say. Perhaps we should.
If someone looked at me like death, holding deadly snakes in either hand, and then told me, "Hey, let's go and meet in a room," and I meet them in this room and they are not there, I would evacuate immediately.
Yeah.
Dustin Hoffman just, Beth, just looks around the room and she seals it. I mean, dude. By the way, is it possible for a non-technician to know how to flood a room? How would a marine biologist know?
Well, exactly. And that's my problem with the old, the setup of as I said earlier, I'm a gymnast. I'm a, whatever. I'm a gynecologist. It's like, yeah, but you wouldn't be able to do any of the things you're probably going to have to do. And yet you can do them anyway. And there's no one there to help you. And again, that's why I asked you earlier, is this the first time they've gone in? Another film I was thinking about is the Natalie Portman, I forgot, Annihilation.
Wonderful movie.
Yeah, and it's a film that I think we've talked about it. I think I must have seen like 4 or 5 times. I just really, really enjoy it. And it goes nuts, but it does so in such a clever, it's kind of drip, drip, drip way, but it does it in such a brilliant way. But you know that multiple people have tried. It's all gone wrong. They're trying this, they're trying that. In this, it's like, first go, we love that thing you wrote, Dustin. You and 3 others are just going to fucking go for it. Are they actually doing it? What has actually happened? Because that's what I mean about the ending. So we get to the ending. Where would you say the ending begins?
Before the ending, let me just
you're still
finish.
Going? Bloody hell.
Still going. Because you're mentioning Annihilation and how it does go quote unquote weird. But that movie never loses you. But at least didn't lose me, didn't lose you. It constantly has the characters being aware of who they are and trying to figure out the situation that they're in. They've got a very clear mission.
Yeah.
In this movie, in Sphere, after Sharon Stone tries to drown Dustin Hoffman, he swims out of the habitat, out of the hatch, comes out through another hatch, comes across her. And he looks at her quite calmly and just says, "You tried to kill me."
Another one.
Then he walks around a corner and finds her crumpled up into a ball and says, "What are you doing?" As if it's not obvious that she's crumpled up into a ball.
Yeah,
he seems confused and must ask. And then he says to her, "You went inside the sphere, didn't you?" To which Sharon Stone's response is to look at him and walk out of the scene.
yeah, that's right.
Just there, you've got, "You tried to kill me. What are you doing? You went to the sphere." Non-answer. And it's all being delivered with this slow dialogue. and these stares. It's the complete opposite of Annihilation. These characters are not responding in any normal way, and neither is the movie.
No.
And therefore, we're just watching people saying words, and we're trying to understand, when will this fucking movie end?
You've really thought a lot about this. I was not able to think any more about it. Once it finished, I had to let it go. And now I'm realizing that second watch probably was more necessary. But yeah, you're absolutely right. It's jarring, but not in a fun way. Long before you get to the end, which I'm going to push you on again in a minute, you've given up, because you're just like, as you said, I don't care now where this is going. You've done too many turns, not even, as I say, not even fun turns, like a badly designed roller coaster. I don't fucking care where you're going. I want to get off.
If a character is saying, I like fish, and the next thing they're saying, I hate fish, you've got nothing to grasp onto, and it's just, blech.
Yeah, it's
So you're asking about the ending.
How do we discern the conclusion of this film? Where to you? Because there's a bunch of false revelations and kind of revelations and deadpan reactions to things, and then the next scene that doesn't seem to have mattered at all. So where does this film end?
The film ends with all of our three surviving characters figuring out that they have all, in turn, gone inside the sphere, and the sphere gives you the power to basically control logic, control the world, control anything and everything. But what it is unable to do is work around imagination. Basically, they're given the power to affect reality, but because of the human power of imagination, which the sphere has never encountered, it makes it reckless and highly dangerous.
I was thinking, how could that have been presented in a better way? Like a lot of bad films will do like bad flashbacks, like and then Dustin going into the sphere, or Samuel reading his book. But the book thing, like it again, it's not like a terrible little, it's quite a funny twist. It's just the way that Jackson's reading that book. I don't think I've ever seen a film so obviously tell you that this book is important. Like, or something is, it's literally, I mean, no one can see what I'm doing, but it's just him going, for the whole fucking middle part of that film.
He can't be torn away from the book. Just absolutely cannot be torn away.
He's riveted by that book, which no one seems to think is particularly weird, or sometimes they do and then they forget that they think it's weird.
And then later, Hoffman opens a fucking cupboard door and 18 million copies of the book spill out, which he finds alarming. But then the very next scene, he is not saying, yo, guys, what the fuck is up with this fucking book?
Is that Jerry that makes them react weirdly to things? Maybe. Is it Jerry that's making them forget?
Jerry apparently is Samuel L. Jackson.
Oh, okay.
When they translated Jerry, maybe they got it wrong, or maybe it was a lie. But basically, it's Harry. Harry is the one that brings the giant squid down on the facility. Which also, by the way, I haven't mentioned it because it's not script related. But you've got this sequence. For example, Jurassic Park. The standout sequence is the T-Rex attack on the road. Even The Lost World, the standout sequence is the two Rexes attacking the long kind of explorer vehicle and hanging it over the side of the cliff. You've got these moments of tension. If your script has a giant squid attack scene, and you never show the squid, and it's oh boy, you've got some issues.
That again, it's inexplicable because that this conversation is very, very much like, I've woken up from a dream, and then somebody somehow was in that dream with me and is now reminding me of the finer points of the dream. We've had a shared dream, and you're like, oh, do you remember that bit where there's the giant squid? And oh yeah, do you remember that bit where Sharon Stone is gaslit? Like, I mean, it's actually quite comedic and very pleasurable having you explain to me the batshit proper, and not in a good way, batshit nature of the construction of this film. So you need to do your thing about telling us what we would change, right? Or asking what would we change. Are we there yet?
We're not there yet. We're not there yet.
Goodness, go on.
Hold the fuck on. Basically, what you're asking, by the way, the ending is the three main characters realize they've all been inside the sphere. They all have been given the power of the sphere, which is the ability to affect reality. But because they have the power of the human power of imagination, which this alien entity, the sphere, has not encountered before, it makes it phenomenally dangerous. And the three of them agree, well, look, we're a bunch of smart people and we all went to shit. Imagine what would happen if some other dumber people got their hands on this fucking thing. So they agree to forget about it. They forget the sphere, and then the sphere...
Yeah, that's all right. They agreed to forget about it. I do think that was just the actors talking about the film, to be honest. I can imagine them in the rap party. Let's just agree to forget about it. Yeah.
Does this movie try to add anything new?
Oh, right. We're not even done that yet.
We're not even, yeah. Hold the fuck on. As we've talked about, the smart characters are good. Like, let's, if we reduce this film to like a base genre template, let's say like the science fiction thriller. It's great to have a bunch of smart characters, ostensibly smart characters. It does come through at moments. You know, Crichton's kind of writing or their analytical way of thinking does come through. Hoffman adds a lot to it because he's not really someone you associate with genre fare. But I really get the fact that I get the notion that Levinson either hasn't watched a lot of horror.
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
Or he just doesn't fucking like it, because every turn with this movie could have gone into some meaty, enjoyable stuff. It zags away into this zone of confusion and stagnancy. Yes.
Yes. For anyone who doesn't know, the time in Christchurch now is 20-1. So the fact that Brad is still this energized and engaged tells me that Sphere is a fucking raging success.
Energized. This movie has a scene where Hoffman is in a science lab and he's just like doo, 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 doo. Meanwhile, the camera lazily pulls down to the floor to show, hey, the floor has kind of got a bit of water in it, and here comes a snake, and the snake goes right up Hoffman's leg, and Hoffman,
yeah, he does.
You've never seen him act like this. I'm gonna try and pull off a Hoffman. His acting as a snake goes up his trouser pants is the camera stays on him for quite a long time because Sharon Stone walks in impassively and just stares at him.
She does, I know.
While he's incredible. And he's just going for it. Is he punching his leg? Is he taking off his pants? Is he doing anything to get the snake out? No, he's just happy to just bellow like a gibbon on crack.
Very nicely done. It's a shame people couldn't see that performance. And I think the thing that I quite like about this film, I don't like about it, but the fact, as you just described, Sharon Stone doesn't react at all. It's quite something, really.
Well, that's what she says, the line about nocturnal snakes at the bottom of the ocean floor in darkness.
Yeah, it's incredible. Like, I imagine how Levinson told them to act. Right, Sharon, if this is going to happen. Okay, wow. Okay, Barry. So I read in the script that he's going to be attacked by snakes. And it says here, don't fucking react. Is that correct? I can't believe that's right, Barry. No, that's right. Okay. And then what do I do? Just walk out. Okay.
Actually, we've rewritten it. Now you're just gently going to pick up the snakes in both hands, but you won't even look at them. You won't even acknowledge that your hands, your fists are full of snake. You're just going to look at Hoffman and just tell him at no stage was he ever under any threat whatsoever.
A fistful of snakes. Is that a lost Clint Eastwood film, is it? See, I think this discussion, which has gone on quite a long time now, has made me want to rewatch it. I think you should do a commentary. I think you, and only you, I wouldn't be there. I'd be recording it. Should just be watching this and reacting to it. It's a shame we couldn't catch your first viewing of it because it's captured you. It's ensnared you like no other film.
Like the Sphere itself.
Yeah, I'm starting to wonder.
If you want me to endure a commentary track for Sphere, I'll do it. You just have to let me know. Look, what scenes, changes would have made this movie better? Mark, what do you think?
Bloody hell. Just make it How am I supposed to answer that? I mean, you've obviously got some ideas. I don't think I'd even say scenes. It's just like, well, no, okay, yeah, I can. The Samuel L. Jackson and then the scene that follows straight after could be done in a way to at least clue us vaguely into what we can expect. So yeah, like Annihilation. I mean, they literally walk through the shimmer. There we go. Now I know, right? Walking through the shimmer, the rules are going to be different. Just make it a little bit more obvious that we're transitioning to that, maybe.
That's very gentle. I like your approach.
Well, I
That's good.
can't. The thing is, again, it's like whenever we ask this question, I generally feel like just don't make the film. But that isn't really helping this section of the discussion, is it?
Look, fuck off. Don't make the movie.
Yeah, basically. And yourself?
I mean, this movie suffers from a great many ailments, and I think we've talked about it before. But one of the big ailments is there's never any oh shit or any wow or any awe. For example, when they first see the spaceship, there should be immense fear, respect of this thing that is at the bottom of the ocean. Case in point, like for example, when they touch the hull of the craft, there's never any hesitation. There's never any, are you ready? There's never a moment.
Like that. Yeah.
It's just like, boom, they touch it. There's never any moment of reflection. Or when the door opens, it just opens like, there's no dread. I remember the very, very first Resident Evil game on PlayStation 1. You're in control of your character and you walk down a hallway, just a nondescript hallway. But by that point in the game, I was so scared about what might be just around the corner that I actually physically couldn't move the character forward.
Yeah.
Because I was certain there was something just at the very edge, that very lip, the very corner of the hallway ready to get me. And there was never any of that in this movie. They walk inside a spaceship at the bottom of the Pacific Ocean that's been there for 300 years. And not once is there like, holy fuck, look at where we are.
Yeah, I know. It's bizarre, isn't it? I know. It's weird. That's completely missing.
Yeah. So that would have really put a lot more oomph in there. I've got two ideas. So number one, it's a real cheat and it would piss off the audience, but at least it would explain some of the stuff. When a person goes inside the sphere, there's a transfer going on. So basically, you get to go inside the sphere and you get to experience the alien world or whatever's in there. Meanwhile, the aliens get to jump in your body and go for a walkabout and experience your world. So everything that happens from the moment they enter the sphere, all the weird shit like reading a book, and aliens like, what the fuck is with this book? Or like they're fighting about relationships and snakes. Aliens think that's what we do. And it's just, it's a bunch of aliens pilot around our bodies and just fucking making a mess of everything.
Yeah, like cone heads or something, yeah.
But what I would have liked to have seen is, because I did like the Jerry communication stuff. There's a scene in the movie where like a fire happens, Liev Schreiber fucking dies, a plate full of burning hot metal on his face. He's gone. He's dead. He's out of the fucking movie. He's lucky. If that had happened, the following scene should have been I call it the square off scene. That is where Hoffman sits down with the Jerry computer and they start going at it. Like it's a really tense scene where a human angered at the loss of a friend and a coworker, scared for his life, but still a psychologist, tries to outplay an alien intelligence. And it's this 5-minute tense scene. Like imagine the scenes where Bruce Willis and Alan Rickman are talking over the walkie-talkies. They were great. Imagine something like that where two opposing forces are trying to just beat the other.
Yeah, there are hints of it, aren't there? There are hints of it.
There are hints.
It's just so difficult to answer the question because you've got to disentangle this absolute mess. It's like I saw like a meme of people our age remembering, all the wires at the back of the computer all being... It's like trying to work out, well, which of those wires would actually do something and which is just tangling, fucking up all the others. There's probably 4 films at least that you could untangle and then make a straight line film. That one you just described, more like the slightly controlled chaos of Annihilation. You could line them up, And you could say, right, we'll do that like more of a like Independence Day, but a bit more surreal. But it's just, yeah, it just comes out. It's just a bit embarrassing. Like the acting is, I'm surprised this film, well, obviously it's not really made a cultural impression because it could be quite memeable. Everything you've said, just the guy flailing around with the snake going up towards his unmentionables and then someone just going, eh. Like, that's like the equivalent of, the dog with the house on fire. And yet it's not even, it loses me in a way that makes that not possible, which is quite sad, really. It could have been a proper cult watch, something people put on, but it's not going to be, is it? Because no one would be like, I've had a few beers, like, you'd be like, fuck off.
I really like the way you've put that.
Thank you.
It's so unwatchable because it's so unreadable that you can't really derive any enjoyment from it because of these. I keep blaming the editing because the chapter breaks just they come out of nowhere and no scene seems to connect with before. Like the whole thing is that, like, once again, it's a Crichton technique of, because he does it in Jurassic Park. Here they are on the island and oh no, it's a massive storm. And that's what keeps them on the island.
Yeah.
Same thing in Sphere. Why they're down the bottom of the ocean, they don't fucking panic and get the fuck out because their connection line gets severed. No, it just doesn't work. I really like Annihilation because in some ways it's a kiss or a response to The Thing. The Thing is an all-male movie about men in the Antarctic, and Annihilation, to its wonderful credit, is an all-female story of these women going through the shimmer. Sphere would have been better suited all male or all female, or for God's sake, just give Sharon Stone a purpose aside from, I really miss that D.
And even then, like, there are times where she's like, yeah, I wish I'd never come into contact with that D. Or I was asleep while the D became present. Like, it's very difficult to know.
The double D.
It's just horror. It's horrific. It's a horrific mess of a film. The biggest crime to me is it's not rewatchable, which really should have been, especially to me. Event Horizon, all of those films I've seen, even around Event Horizon, I've seen countless times because it's fun.
Yeah, Deep Star 6 and Leviathan, they are some 80s schlock.
Yeah, put them on. Yeah.
I'm going to bring up again the Boneyard. The Boneyard and Sphere actually have something in common. The end result is unwatchable due to you cannot follow one strand, or you cannot latch on to one character because the movie refuses to let you do so. So right after watching The Boneyard, I watched a lovely 3-part TV show called Nolly, which is from Russell T Davies, all about a British soap actress who gets fired unceremoniously. And it was joyous to watch because, well, I am a Russell T Davies stan, but here is a story with an extremely clear focus. At every single stage of the show, every scene, I knew what the Nolly character wanted. I knew who she was. I knew where she'd been, and I knew where she was going. Yep. I was never out of place. It was very clear. So when she had an emotional moment, I was right there with her because I felt what she felt.
Yeah.
But the Boneyard and Sphere, you cannot feel anything for these characters. And it'd be like Christmas Day, you and me having some Christmas pud, and I'm like, iron deficiency. And you're like, well, that's shocking. Yeah. But I don't know why he's doing that.
I get the feeling that's actually happened to you before. But yeah. And again, like, I like surreal-y stuff. And it has kind of made me wonder or question what it is that brings me back to those things. I think you either have to go for it and really go for it and establish what you're doing. Like, Twin Peaks is such a fascinating thing because it's melodramatic and earnest at times and it's offhand and aloof for others, but it's a miracle that it's as watchable as it is. I think it takes a very special director and visionary to be able to do that. And Barry Levinson, as you said earlier, isn't fucking really interested in the film he's trying to make.
I really feel that. It's a lack of interest.
It's obvious. And which is, why do it? Like I said earlier, why bother?
Wrapping up, here's a question we often forget to ask, and I think it is perfect that we remember to ask it for this movie. Finally, does this movie deserve to exist?
No.
Like what happens to the title object in the final scene.
Yeah.
No one talks about this movie. No one references this or mentions being inspired by it. You don't get any director or writer who's like, well, I stole this from Sphere. None of the cast or crew talk about it. This movie, this fucking movie, unlike Event Horizon, which was a complete, it didn't make its money back. I'm sure it has by now. But on initial release, worldwide, didn't make his money back. This movie was around about, let's say, $73 to $80 million. It made about, let's say, $75 million. So again, not a success, but I'm sure by now it's gone marginally in the black, especially when this was released on DVD. That was the peak of DVD. And I'm sure there were idiots like me being like, oh man, this looks awesome. Underwater action, cool. It
would have got a lot of people in on the premise and the stars. Weird timing in some of their careers, but the stars, I think. The fact that we've spent quite a long time talking about it tells us that there are some things worth talking about, but generally they're everything that went wrong and not in a funny way.
Oh, shit. I was listening to everything you said. On the Wikipedia page, it mentions the release.
Mm-hmm.
Sphere initially had a Christmas release date. Because when I think Christmas, I think this. But it was moved forward to avoid competition. So that means, because it was released in February 1998. So does that mean it was going to be out Christmas 1998? Because that means that yeah, the editing, the post-production on this movie was also incredibly affected then.
There we are.
I wonder. Like the studio was like, cut this, cut that. No, cut this. Like maybe there's 25 minutes of this movie missing, and that's where these weird chapter breaks come into it. Because with those 25 minutes gone, it was just all over the place, and the chapter breaks were the only things that told you this is a different day or a very different scene.
Again, why didn't we have that instead of the intertitles? This is a different day. Just black screen. You're coming up with some innovations in cinema that we've not seen since Méliès took us to the moon. I think, yeah. I think if nothing else, you've got a lot of inspiration here for your next project.
I would love that because I get a lot out of watching these movies because I learn what not to do.
Yeah, true.
But unfortunately with Sphere, because there's nothing I can take away in my writing other than like, well, don't just fucking vomit on the page and read it. But I hope that people like, oh, well, I read the first sentence, I read the last sentence, and I think I know what's going on.
Your obvious fascination with this film suggests that you should probably read the book. It'd be quite curious to see how the book collars together, this absolute mess. Maybe it does.
Well, final thoughts about Sphere. Elliot Goldenthal's music is fantastic.
Yeah, it does a lot of work.
He's always done that very avant-garde, classical chamber, like. We seem to watch a lot of these movies where the soundtrack does all the heavy lifting.
Absolutely. I mean, I think and another interesting thing about the process of this is seeing how all the different component parts of a film, when some are really singing and working really well and others are just really letting everyone else down. It's really made me think a lot more about how these things are all working or how some things are trying to overcompensate for other things it's quite interesting.
$80 million is a lot to spend on a movie. And we know that the Sphere novel was written. There's your template. It's not as though the movie deviates from the source material wildly. So everyone knew what they were getting into. So I'm curious what happened to make it go so wildly, I don't want to say off the rails, because there's a pleasure in that. What is that Werner Herzog movie, documentary, where he's making something in the jungle with Klaus Kaczynski or
My Best Fiend?
That is delightfully off the rails. Or that Johnny Depp, Terry Gilliam, in the desert, Don Quixote, miserable exercise and filmmaking. There is no pleasure. It's just confusion. It's got all the taste of dry milk.
Okay. I think we're going to have to power Brad down because I think he's got a bit overexcited.
1:02 a.m. New Zealand time.
Yeah, well done. People at home will be raising a glass to you, this epic podcast.
Good episode for the mates, because like later on in like the subreddit, they'll be like, "Oh man, did were you there when the Sphere episode dropped?"
Yeah,
and then like, but someone truly in the know is like, "Nah, that's the Boneyard episode, motherfucker."
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's the secret Boneyard episode.
Thank you so much for joining us. I mean, we hope we've intrigued you, but most of all, I hope we've just entertained you, because this movie sure as fuck does not do that.
Thank you very much, Brad. Well done.
Thank you very much, Mark. That is it, mates, for Michael Crichton April, MCA. Wow, those movies were a choice. But hey, thank Christ we spared you from The 13th Warrior or Timeline. Seriously, we did you a solid. Next up, we're going to have our very first AMA. That's right, a whole bunch of questions we're going to answer in the next episode. What kind of questions, Bradley, are you asking? Well, what do you eat first, the meat or the veg? Which is better, a punch in the face or a kick in the balls? And how much do you guys really drink when you record these podcasts? Are those questions in the show? No, not at all. But there's other questions which I swear are far more interesting and hopefully more enjoyable to listen to. Check back, that's right, 2 weeks' time for our very first AMA, Mate Style. Until then, as always, stay safe, grab a slice. Written Off is hosted by me, Bradley Freeman, and Mark Tasker. It's produced by the both of us, and it's edited by me. Our theme music is by Skane, and our artwork is by Sketchfro. This has been a Pugnacious Podcast production.